I enjoyed a lot the Oscar-winning movie Slumdog Millionaire. In case you haven't watched it yet, it's a movie of a kid that is born and raised in India and goes throughout a very difficult life, and many things happen to him, mostly bad things. However, that teach him in order when he grows older and he participates on this particular program, wants to be a millionaire. And after that, since all of the experience that he had, he learned a lot and he was able to actually win the competition and hence become a millionaire. And basically, the aesthetics of the movie is on slums, on poor parts of India, and so on. So it's a very impactful movie. A lot of bad things happen, and it's a very heartwarming movie. A lot of it tells you a lot about human nature. Well, something I noticed after that, of course, that it's not only after the movie, because before the movie I saw this trend, but it increased after the success of Slumdog Millionaire, is that I noticed many people, especially on Western nations, like to do this, what I call the poverty porn experience and traveling and so on. So they like to visit poor places or undeveloped places, like you find a lot on India. Of course, India is a beautiful country and has a lot of beautiful things to visit. However, many people like to visit the slums and so on. And actually on the movie itself, you can watch a scene where this particular thing happens. Well, this is a particular trend that I've seen many years, actually, even before the movie. And I wanted to discuss it today. So we are going to talk about Slumdog Millionaire touristic experience in Venezuela.
Welcome to Venezuela Insider, the only place in Venezuela for expats, digital nomads, entrepreneurs, investors, travelers, and related internationals. For more information, venezuelainsider.com.
So today we are going to discuss the Slumdog Millionaire experience in Venezuela. And sadly, something that I want to clear that out, the information regarding, the Slumdog Millionaire experience in Venezuela, is because something that I get a lot. And first, I'm not bashing anyone who wants to live the Slumdog Millionaire experience, and let me explain what it is. It's basically this particular tourism that is made in order to visit undeveloped regions, and you can, of course, mostly by Western citizens, United States and the UK and so on, because it's very funny. And this is something about human nature that, for instance, here in Latin America, especially in Venezuela, but it happens in Mexico and Colombia and so on, the people who are, let's say, middle class, high middle class, they like to travel to places like Miami or New York, or, of course, beautiful cities, or London or Paris, or Spain. They like to travel to Spain a lot because they want to see the most developed place that they can where they speak English. Spain is not my thing, but well, you do you. And lately they want to visit places like Dubai and Mykonos, and even lately I'm checking places like Singapore and Hong Kong. Very good, beautiful places, and if you can afford to travel to those places, very good, you do you. However, I see this trend on reverse, that people that come from very wealthy nations, like for instance the United States, and also the Scandinavian countries, and also the UK, and also even places like Singapore and Hong Kong and so on. But mostly that goes for Americans, and please bear with me. I know that most of you, or half of you, are Americans, and by the way, shout out to you. Now the thing is, they like to experience this Slumdog Millionaire lifestyle thing and go to the favela, go to the barrio, go to an impoverished small town, and some Americans and, well, Europeans and so on, they like to go to places like India, and they want to go to the small marketplace where the kid from Slumdog Millionaire runs around and all that kind of stuff. Calcutta, places like that. Mumbai and Delhi, well, beautiful places, by the way. They have their own thing going on. Now, something that I want to address, because I get frequent questions about it. And they want to do the same thing in Venezuela, thinking that Venezuela is like India or Philippines or Thailand or places like that. And it's not the case. Most people that actually watch my channel is because, of course, they have some curiosity about Venezuela, and they think that Venezuela is like this poor place, like a sub-Saharan African place, or like this Slumdog Millionaire places, because most of the information that you guys have, or they used to have before start watching the channel, so shout out to you for being a subscriber, is that is not the case, because most of you watch the news during the 2017 events that we had. They were awful, they were dreadful, by the way, the worst year of being Venezuelan, with all of the social turmoil. The economy hit just rock bottom back then, and actually you think that Venezuela is communist or socialist, and I explained many times that it is not the case. Venezuela is neither communist or socialist. Right now is de facto a crony capitalistic country, and this I will explain it later. So you think about this, and you have on this mind, you have your minds, and of course many, of the Western media like CNN and BBC and Deutsche Welle and Radio France, or whatever may be the Western media outlet. They like to come to the barrios. We have slums, we have crappy neighborhoods, we have impoverished cities, but also we have developed cities, beautiful places to visit, and so on and so on. But also we have very undeveloped places. So you have the both sides. Very good. And they like to experience the Slumdog Millionaire thing going on in Venezuela. They like to go to Petare. Petare is the biggest slum by far that we have in Venezuela. And of course, we have normal people that go to school, go to their jobs, and so on. And many YouTubers, and the first thing that they do as soon as they land in Venezuela is visit Petare. And of course, that's your thing, and that's going to increase your views and so on. Okay, very good for you. And of course, we have an awful economic situation. But you have to remember that Venezuela is an impoverished country, but it's not a poor country. People on the 70s and the 80s, Venezuelans, we were top 10 regarding GDP per capita and standards of living in Latin America. And that trend came until the early 2000s or early 2010s. Something like that. And of course, the economic collapse due to the mismanagement of that everything here, mostly by bureaucratic elements, but that's a discussion for another day. The thing is, Venezuela is more than just, a movie with Dev Patel that actually I like. I don't watch that much movies, but I like Dev Patel, by the way. And so if you want that experience and you're coming to Venezuela, you can have it, actually. And it doesn't bother me. And of course, if you end up hiring me, I can point you in the right direction. However, Venezuela is just more than this particular experience. Venezuela has a bunch of beautiful places, a lot of developed places. Also, Venezuela is not cheap. That's something that you confuse, because if you have the Slumdog Millionaire mindset, you think Venezuela is cheap, and it's not the case. I made many videos. I created a lot of content. I mentioned it on my newsletter, on my podcast, basically on Twitter, X. So I mentioned all the time that Venezuela is not a cheap place. So if you are expecting a bargain in Venezuela, it's not going to be the case. Now, if you want to do the Slumdog Millionaire thing, very good. Not criticizing that. But Venezuela is way more than that. Venezuela is way more than 2017 on CNN and BBC. Venezuela is way more than Petare and the slums. By the way, I think I've never been in Petare. I just drive by, something like that. And actually, I was born in Caracas. So, funny thing. Of course, I've been in slums and poor small towns. Here, of course, I've seen it a lot of times, and there is poverty in Venezuela, substantial levels of poverty in Venezuela, but it's not like Venezuela is this big slum that most of you are thinking about. Recently, a few months ago, I did a reaction video of the visit of a very popular YouTuber named Bold and Bagenrock. And he's a British citizen that likes to travel to undeveloped places on Eastern Europe and places like that. And he visited Venezuela, and basically he visited all of the crappy places that you want to visit. Petare, ugly beaches in La Guaira, and so on and so on. So he never visited something developed, something fancy, something pretty. And of course, that's his thing, and good for him, and I'm not criticizing them. The thing is that in many YouTubers, that communicators like to, this morbid sentiment, this desire to show the morbid things of Venezuela. We have a bunch of them, believe me, trust me on that. But Venezuela is way more than that. And when I show the good places, for instance, nobody before, most of you that watch regularly this content, you didn't knew that it was a city like Lecheria. It's beautiful. Or a developed area on Caracas, or Margarita Island, or many of the beautiful places that we have here. And something that bothers me a little bit, because Venezuela is way more than that, and I'm not criticizing you yet again if you like the Slumdog Millionaire thing, but Venezuela is way more than that. Venezuela is not just this poor place that, of course, we have poverty yet again, and we indeed have places, we have slums, and we have undeveloped areas. However, Venezuela is way more than that, and please take it with a grain of salt every time that you see a video or a news media or whatever may be the case, seeing these poverty things, because they exist actually, but the country is way more than that.
Thank you for watching Venezuela Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media. If you want to work with us, VenezuelaInsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.